Do you love animation and are you looking for a new YouTube series to connect to? Or are you sick of finding a show you do connect to just for your streaming service to cancel it anyway? Hi, I'm Rachel, a 2D animator who quit my job to make an indie animated series outside of the studio system. And it's called Cassie Loves Cooking. You can watch the trailer for the first episode here. As I'm making this first pilot episode, I'll be documenting it here on YouTube, and I invite you to come be a part of every stage of its creation. Cassie Loves Cooking is a show about two cats who attempt to stream a cooking show while they secretly defend their planet from a violent dog invasion. It's an adventure comedy with some coming-of-age themes. I really wanted to explore the crushing social expectations imposed on young people and how it can lead to self-blame and anxiety and secrecy. Instead of doing the right thing and exposing herself and asking for help, Cassie makes some pretty dangerous decisions, like deciding to fight an entire army of dogs with her best friend and her sentient smartphone. I wanted to really look deeper at these coping strategies. Like, it doesn't condemn her behavior, but it really looks into the why. Like, what if you had a dismissive or controlling authoritarian parent that you cannot go to in tough situations? To really learn from, like you should be able to as a young teen or an adult. It just means you're left to figure out life on your own when you're realistically too young to do so. I'm very lucky to have had a 15-year career as a 2D animator in a lot of different industries. I made my way from advertising to marketing to tech, and then eventually TV and gaming. My journey to indie animation comes from this background as a professional artist, and I'm going to talk about my experience in these fields. But if you just want to get to the creative side, I'll leave chapter markers down below. So I made it to where I wanted to be, animating characters in shows and games, and I just learnt so much along the way. I picked up some skills that I wouldn't have otherwise, and I met some amazing people who are still my best friends to this day. And I had steady employment, so overall, no regrets. But I started noticing a reoccurring pattern that despite having stable employment, my colleagues and I were all overworked, underpaid, and pretty stressed out over the stability of our jobs in all of these different industries. And it can be perfectly summed up by a word you may have heard of recently: enshittification, or what I'll call the value extraction cycle. It's what happens when digital platforms slowly get worse as they change from serving users to squeezing them for profit. Think about services like Uber, Airbnb, or streaming platforms that started off pretty cheap and better than what came before them. They hook you with low prices and then corner the market, sell your data, flood everything with ads, raise prices, lock everything behind a paywall, and then just cancel your favorite shows. All to maximize the profits for the shareholders of these businesses that are already worth billions. So what does that have to do with me making an indie animated show? Because that same value extraction cycle hits animation workers too. One of the fastest ways for these companies to boost profits is to cut internal spending, like lowering pay, fewer staff doing more work, flashy hiring to impress investors, and then mass layoffs when the numbers didn't somehow magically pan out. I have unfortunately experienced all of this, and when I eventually made it to the entertainment industry like I'd always dreamed of, it was exactly the same thing. The same thing was happening. Studios owned by shareholders or working for networks owned by shareholders that were just all stuck in the same cycle. So it's stressful and I'm becoming isolated and weird and sweaty. So when I finally get home to shower and watch cartoons and relax, I can't even do that because my favorite cartoons are all cancelled and I have no way to access them anymore. They are just gone, disappeared into this mysterious animation graveyard, never to be seen by anyone ever again. As an employee and a fan, I was just getting hammered from both sides, with this endless cycle of everything getting worse and sucking for both workers and audiences. The reason I'm telling you this is it really is what finally got me to move over to the independent side. I started to think about what I really wanted out of my life and realized that working for a traditional company might not be what gets me there. I wondered, what if I made something I truly wanted, gave it straight to the audience who wanted it, and got funding directly from them? Honestly and fan first, without this faceless tech company screwing it up for everyone involved. I could even grow it in a non-traditional way, like a worker-owned co-op, so it doesn't become a profits over people kind of business. I didn't have to be part of enshittification anymore. I could do the opposite. de-shitification, to de-shit, if you will. On a more positive note, another huge motivator for me is the current boom in independent animation. Artists from all over the world are coming together to make these absolutely incredible shows with large supportive fan bases that are helping them grow into legitimate businesses. With my experience in both animation and marketing, I believe I could actually make something like this work. And it would just be a dream come true to be able to work alongside some of these really inspirational animators. So, starting now, my friends and I are creating the first pilot episode of Cassie Loves Cooking. And by sharing the process here on YouTube, we want to grow a community who trusts us, believes in the project, and wants to see the show continue. Once the pilot is out, we'll launch a Kickstarter and then very politely ask the community to help us fund episode 2 and beyond, so we can pay a team of animators and grow this into a sustainable production that pays and treats its work as well. We are going with crowdfunding instead of things like grants or Patreon, because having one big chunk of funding up front will make it easier for us to plan future episodes and build a team. I'll be posting regular videos here as we make the pilot for Cassie Loves Cooking, sharing the big creative updates. But if you'd like to support the project directly and receive behind-the-scenes content, the best place to be is the newsletter. It's free, keeps you in the loop on the funding round after episode 1, and it comes with some fun extras like digital stickers and access to the Cassie Loves Cooking Discord. I'll leave a link to the newsletter below. Thank you so much for watching and for your continued support. See you in the next video, and remember to always
support indie animation!